What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team stand up! Once again, it's April. FTC stay faithful. We got interesting video I've seen on the recommending to decide to fire up the webcam. I thought it'll be interesting because I'm interested as well. Now, he had made this video a couple years ago. Eric Weather shot out to him. Looked like he made a remastered version or whatever, remade or whatever. But first time looking at it for myself, we have things that are actually banned in Madden from the NFL, and then we also have the updated right here, which he's about to, because he had the same thing twice, but I clicked on the most recent one because I guess it's about to be the truth. So we're finding out also what was exactly banned from Madden and also why it was in the truth and shit. But now that I'm noticing, there is a couple of things I feel like Madden has banned that was in a previous Madden before that I didn't even realize. We're going to see why.
Over the years, the Madden NFL series has lost some of its fan favorite features. But what's interesting about all of this is that not all of those features that were lost were at the hands of EA, but rather by the league that they answer to, the NFL. When you partner with the NFL to use their license, you have to obey their requests of what they do or don't want in the game, as they see the game as a direct representation of their brand. After all, their name, their logos, and everything associated with them is in this game. If they see something in the game that they think is a bad look for their brand or something that they just simply don't want to be associated with at all, they will have EA remove it. We all know the nickname for the NFL is the No Fun League, and when you find out what they've had
yo, I just today finding that out. Yo, No Fun League is a fat, bro. It's gonna be flag football in 10 years, bro. I've been said that. Like, yo, the NFL at this point, didn't they also, I mean, there was a really worth the reaction, but like, they put some new rule in the NFL. Now you can't apparently hip tackle no more. Like, what type of shit is that? Like, what is the point of tackling? Like, seriously, like, it's crazy because that's literally how I was brought about, like, with getting tackled. Like, I never had a problem with it. I mean, like, I could see how it can injure somebody, but like now we're limiting. There's gonna be just so much high scoring games from here on out in the future in the NFL, bro, and other stuff, man. Like, that's not even half of what
they've had it removed. The nickname will make even more sense than it ever did before. Now, I've done a video like this in the past, but over the years we've gotten more information about things that they've banned from the game and also some more clarity on certain things as well, so I figured it was time to make an updated video on this topic, seeing as a lot of Madden fans are still asking about all of these things to this day, and a lot of people still don't know that the NFL had EA remove these things from their game. Let's start with one of the most common things I see asked about in my comment section all the time. Where are the big hits that made helmets pop off of players?
Bro, for real! Oh my gosh! This is the thing is too, because it's like it's certain things that I remember and don't remember that's gonna re-jog my memory. Why the hell did they take this out the game, bro? I remember in like the PS2 days, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I would have my like little own franchise mode. See, this is the reason. This it's much deeper than people when they look at me play like the Ultimate Team game modes and the My Team game modes, and they just look at it. Oh, you just want to spend money on the game, like, bro. Like, it dates all the way back to like for like whenever the Ultimate Team and My Team mode was in the game or first got into the game. Like, bro, I just remember when I just didn't have any type of enough money to afford like the, you know what I'm saying, to be able to buy these coins and get the stuff back in the day. But nonetheless, bro, I always would make franchise modes and like, would have like all of my favorite legendary players like on one team and like have my own custom uniforms and just have my own custom like different things about my team, like even like where the stadium was set at and shit like that. Like, I would be so in depth with it, and it would be some weird fun fact, and I would do the same thing with like the 2K. Like, I remember they had the association. The mode that was called, and I used to play it like maybe like before like NBA 2K8 and below, and I'll put like all my favorite NBA players and legends on like one team and then battle it out in the NBA season. Obviously, I'm playing against the CPU during those given times and stuff, but it was just for some reason a fun factor. And it would just be little things like this in Madden. I would remember like I would have like my favorite like safety like come across the field and like smack like the running back on the upper side, pause, by the way, you know what I'm saying, and the helmet would fly off. Bro, when the hell did they take out the helmet pop-off feature? That's crazy as hell, bruh.
to those hits. It was so cool to hit stick somebody and see their helmet go flying.
For
it really
real.
made the impact of the big hits feel more intense. And with the hit stick itself being one of the best features that was ever added to Madden, this just perfectly went hand in hand with it. It felt so rewarding to line a player up.
For real, bro. Like, why did they take this out the game? Nah, hey, NCAA coming up in June. And so the NCAA gotta take all these things at the NFL, because the NFL don't got the rights to the NCAA. They don't. There's no way, or if they do, they have it to a certain limit. So if I'm NCAA right now, niggas got to be watching this video right now and looking at all the things that they took out, or they had to take out, whether EA took it out themselves or they had no choice from the NFL and put it into NCAA. Bro, why did they take this out? Or does it count for NCAA too? Because this is
and
NCAA.
not get back in the next week as his helmet flew off his head. But as we all know, the helmets don't quite do that anymore in Madden. We haven't seen this in probably over 10 years at this point, maybe more than that.
It's been 10 years?
This was not an EA decision to remove this from the game. This was actually the NFL. This is one of the few things that makes sense, I suppose, since they are trying to completely remove themselves from the conversation of being too dangerous, and for years now, they've been trying to avoid head injuries as much as possible.
What? I'm gonna replay it again before I respond.
Not an EA decision to remove this from the game. This was actually the NFL. This is one of the few things that makes sense, I suppose, since they are trying to completely remove themselves from the conversation of being too dangerous, and for years now, they've been trying to avoid head injuries as much as possible.
Bro, like, I see what the NFL is doing, bro, but y'all niggas at this point, y'all acting like Karens, bro. Like, I get it. Like, you want to steer away from that, like, cool. Change the rules. I understand it. Whatever. We don't all agree with it, but cool. But to be in a video game, a virtual reality video game, and really take out helmets popping off, and your thing is to be like, oh, well, we don't want to make your... This does not make your sport look dangerous, bro. Nobody playing a video game is going to be like, oh, yeah, this looks very dangerous. I just can't play the NFL. I'm going to avoid the NFL at all costs. Oh, no, let me not watch the NFL today. Let me not react to the highlights on. Let me not wear an NFL jersey because it just looks so dangerous because the helmets are flying off. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You know, like, I really, like, it just sounds crazy, harsh. But, bro, like, I really just can't wait till these Karens and the NFL and, like, these other sports places is, like, finally replaced with, like, these, like, new generation people, like, you know, from my generation, or, like, even, like, Gen Z and stuff like that. That's going to be a little bit more lenient and a lot more easier and just a lot more cooler and just, like, less stress-free, bro. Because are you seriously going to... Man, come on, bro. That pissed me off. You know, I knew EA wasn't that cheap and dumb to, like, take out the helmet, like, because come on, bro.
All you have to do is just look at the rule changes in the NFL over the years. You can no longer hit a defenseless receiver, and if a play is too bang, you'll likely get flagged for it, even if you don't lead with your helmet, but instead lead with your
Why do they take that? I like that helmet. It's for some reason, I like it in the game. Keep it in there. It's a video game, bro.
And even if you don't actually make contact with the head. But if it's too close to call, they're going to throw the flag every time. Or if it just simply looks bad in real time and it actually isn't, it doesn't matter, the flag is probably still coming out. The NFL simply doesn't like big hits being glorified at all, even though they are a reality of the sport.
Yo, NFL gonna be flag football in 10 years, bro. That don't even make no type of sense, dog. That don't make no type of sense at all, bro. I don't agree with that at all, bro. I was gonna say, like, maybe before the video, like, there would have been some things that, like, maybe could have made this. This isn't even something to consider at all. This is a video game, dude. It is a video game. I could see if the helmet, like, came off and, like, maybe, like, let's say the player, like, it'll show them, like, overly, like, clenching their head, or it makes them look like they appear like they're not, like, you know what I'm saying, like, conscious or something like that, or it has, like, a cutscene of them, like, getting dragged out in, like, a stretcher. I could see, like, why you would want to take that out the game. That's understandable, but it's just a helmet coming off. That's just unacceptable, bro. That's too Karen-like,
But in Madden,
man.
it doesn't have to be, so they requested that EA remove the helmets popping off of players, even though we still see it happen all the time in the NFL. This feature was removed many years ago and will likely never make a return again.
That's
it's
whack.
actually still surprising to me that the hit stick itself has been able to survive.
Like, come on, bro. It would have looked cool as hell on Madden 24 if they got that right there and the helmet fly off, bro. With these types of graphics, that'll make niggas want to buy the game more. Hint, hint, like, who's the marketing person, whatever, down there?
And in fact, some of the ragdoll hit sticks have gotten even more crazy in Madden, but for some
Exactly!
reason...
There's been way worse ragdoll hit sticks that look way crazier.
helmets pop off is just taking it a bit too far in terms of how the NFL sees it. I guess that's
NFL
just where they
weird.
draw the line. Now this leads directly into the next thing that the NFL banned from Madden. While we're on the topic of big hits and helmets popping off, what type of injuries are often caused by this? It's the C word that the NFL absolutely hates: concussion injuries. If you've played any level of football, I mean down to just playing in your front yard for many years as a kid, you've probably had one of these.
Like, you see, it's cutscenes like this that make the game, like, you know what I'm saying, stick out. It makes people not complain that you're making a copy and paste game every year. Obviously, nobody wants to see nobody get a concussion, and God forbid anybody get a concussion, whether if it's from sports or some other activity, whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? But, bro, like, are we going to sit up here and say that this doesn't look, like, realistic? Like, obviously nobody wants to see, like I said, once again, get a concussion, but, bro, come on.
You fell too hard, you accidentally bumped heads with
This is like Madden 07. I can't tell because it's like they don't ever have the logo on the bottom right of the Madden.
somebody. It's almost impossible to avoid. But the league is trying their hardest to separate themselves from that word, with more and more doctors and specialists coming forward over the years with information about just how dangerous this head injury can be. The NFL would like to do everything in its power to make sure that they don't exist anymore. And we all know that they still happen pretty frequently in real life, but that doesn't mean that they have to happen in Madden. It would be nice to have this in the game for realism along with the concussion protocols like in real life, but the NFL is simply just not going for it. While they can
NFL, bro, like, you know, dude, like they do a lot of things to make themselves very unlikable, dog. Like, they need to lighten up, seriously. Like, it's a video game, bro. Do you realize this video game can, like, low-key get you more viewers, bro? Like, overall, which means that you're going to get more money towards your game. Y'all going to make it so censored where it's just, nobody's just going to mess with it. It's going to be like a unpopular sport similar to, like, I mean, I hate to say it for people that's in that world, but, like, hockey or something like that. Like, NFL's going to be in the popularity of hockey in the next, like, 10 years if they keep it up with this shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, hockey is, like, popular to a certain community. You know what I'm saying? But if you're talking about mainstream, like, bro, let's be real. Come on.
avoid it in real life, they can control whether or not it's in their video game, so naturally, they're never ever signing off on it again. I do believe head injuries may still happen in the game, but they're pretty rare if they do, and they're never actually called concussions. And to go along with this, another thing that silently went away.
I never noticed that in a minute though. Like when they get like injured, I do see the injuries sometimes happen in Madden, but they don't ever have it like in a concussion.
Were career-ending injuries, and while there's been another thing that silently went away over the years were career-ending injuries.
Bro, I remember this, bro, because back to what I was talking about, playing in like the old franchise modes like Madden 07. I think this is Madden 07 or maybe Madden 06 or whatever, bro. But bro, Madden 07, I was like on these franchise modes heavy, bro. Yo, I remember like this one, I had played with Reggie Bush and I had him on my team, and I remember I tried to hurdle somebody, like long story short, bro, he ended up having a herniated disc and it was a career ending, bro, and I couldn't even play with them no more, bro. I understand like where the NFL's coming from. Like, nobody wants to see things like this happen in real life. But, bro, in a video game, like, why? That's another thing. Like, why are y'all taking things out? This is what's making video games, you know what I'm saying, a lot more, like, avoidable for people wanting to play nowadays, bro. It's just, like, little things like this. Like, yeah, I get it. Nobody's provoking this to happen in real life, but I'm saying in a video game, like, come on, like, you just want the same repetitive things to happen.
While there's been no hard proof that the NFL actually banned this specifically,
so they just said that there's no hard proof that the NFL died. Maybe EA took it out.
Likely the case, as it falls in line with the rest of the things that they have banned. Injuries are still in the game, of course, just not the kind that the NFL hates to be associated with.
Yeah, no, because like I remember they had career ending and stuff on certain things.
Which would be concussions and anything career ending. Now, really quickly, before we continue on to some of the crazier things that the NFL banned from Madden, I do want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. If you think RA100 are going to be Patrick, we're going to keep with the same theme and move on to the next thing that the NFL banned from Madden. This next feature was kind of goofy, to be honest, but Madden fans loved it back in the day. This was one of the biggest fan favorites of all time in Madden, the ambulance. But not just the ambulance itself, really. We still see the cart come out in Madden to take players off the field, which is in line with modern times. But back in the old school days of Madden, whenever you hurt a member of the opposing team badly enough, he would have to get carted off the field in an ambulance. But the NFL wound up making making EA remove the ambulance altogether many years ago for a specific reason. Now, when the ambulance came onto the field, this was a big moment in the game, especially if you were playing against friends. It was a bragging rights kind of thing that you were able to take your buddy's player out of the game. The ambulance would come cruising onto the field, but the great thing about it that everybody loved was that the ambulance would literally run over any players that were in its way. It would in fact technically injure more people in the process of taking away the original injured player.
Okay, now if that was the case, and I ain't gonna lie, they should be. I don't see why they would not take that out. Cause I'll be pissed as hell in the Ultimate Team game this happened. I never knew they had an ambulance car off the field.
It made absolutely no sense, but it was a funny thing among Madden players. If you know, you know kind of thing. It was a lot of fun while it lasted, but eventually the league wasn't having it anymore as they felt it just kind of glorified injuries a bit too much, which I guess does make sense. The NFL dropped the
out of
ban
everything.
hammer on
That makes sense out of everything, I guess.
2001, which somewhat makes that year's Madden game a little bit more special as it was the last version of the game to feature the ambulance. Now it's time to switch gears a little bit and dive into some more specific things that were banned from Madden, but these are all mostly things that were banned for ridiculous reasons. We can all understand why the violent stuff was removed from the game, especially since the game is rated E for everyone, and also just because it makes perfect sense for the NFL as a brand. But some of these things we're going to cover will simply just make you laugh. Let's start with player holdouts. This is something I see asked about every single year. Where are the player holdouts? Back in the day, it would be common for top players to hold out exactly like they do in real life. This was just another element that made team building / managing more realistic, but also more difficult. You had to juggle the different personalities of players, and that meant even having to deal with stars who wouldn't play until you gave in to what they wanted. Now, of course,
bro, that is hilarious. I never even knew that was a feature in the game.
Details like this in the past, but this one in particular wasn't their call. The NFL made them take this out of the game a good while ago, simply because they didn't want people thinking negatively of their players based on their personalities in a video game. Doesn't that sound a bit ridiculous?
Yes, it does.
Does anybody play a sports game and think negatively on the real life player based on what he does in a virtual world? I sure don't know anybody who does, but the NFL is the no fun league for a reason. They take everything way too seriously. Speaking of taking things way too seriously, the next up on this list is something even sillier than the previous one. Have you ever seen a stadium in real life that wasn't full of people? Sure, we see it all the time, every season in fact. You ever noticed that you never see that in Madden anymore? Do you even remember dynamic attendance in Madden? It was that long ago. I know some of you do because I see you asking about it every single year, but if you don't know about this feature, let me tell you about it. In Madden 11, EA added a feature that was known as dynamic attendance. What this did was it used a variety of factors to determine the fan turnout for any given game. So things like the team's record, the weather, and more would be a factor in how full the stadium got. If your team was 4-10, for example, and playing in 15-degree weather, fans would likely think twice before showing up on that Sunday.
Really?
If your team just had a bad record in general, they might not show up in full force, reacting the same as real-life fans would. But that was all put to rest quickly as the NFL didn't like that very much. The No Fun League dropped the ban hammer once again, and we haven't seen dynamic attendance since, and probably never will. But the funny thing about this one is this wasn't just the NFL itself, it was more so the owners who had an issue with this. It's been said that the team owners weren't happy about seeing their stadiums empty in the video game, even though the stadiums were off.
Your owners mad as such as your team sorry as shit, nigga. Nobody want to come watch them. But how you mad at that feature, bro? Some of these features just straight up just sit. Most of them are, there's only one of them that I've literally understood, and that's the only ambulance one where it acts like they ran over other players that are injured and shit. Like, I feel like the ambulance still is realistic. If they still got it in the game, I haven't seen it. I ain't gonna lie. I've never seen somebody get cut off the field in my game before. But if they do, like, it makes the stuff realistic, bro. You know, like, what's gonna be next? Like, 2K's gonna start taking out, like celebrating a contact dunk because it looks like it's too unsportsmanlike and it's a bad representation of the NBA. Like, dude, this is getting out of hand, bro.
Often not full in real life.
Like, imagine you thinking that the low attendance in a video game is going to impact ticket sales. When if you think about it, in a full scale, if you talk about a full age range, there's only about like 28 to maybe like 35% of people, if that, if I'm even going way too high, that even play video games. And even if you're looking at those percentages, like those are going to be the people that are even going to notice that. There's going to be like a small 1%, like the tryhards that really try hard to look at like every detail of the game. Nigga, I didn't even notice. Like, now that he said it, I do remember a couple times from the older Maddens back in the day, like when you would play like the franchise mode, and like it'll be like snowing or it's raining or you get a bad record or something, or you got like a big game on the line, it's a different fluctuating in the attendance. I did notice that now that I remember it, but bro, like, you know how hardcore of a gamer head I am, bro. Like I didn't even notice that and remember it until now. And that still, I'm not gonna be like, oh well, yeah, these these Jaguars are just really trash in the year, like, this year. This just not gonna, nobody's gonna think like that and not gonna go to the game, bro. They're gonna go if they want to or not.
Attendance in Madden, and this is why you always see a full stadium, even if the Giants are 1-13 and playing in the snow. This is another area that makes NBA games more immersive, as you'll often see arenas that aren't full when your team is struggling, or you'll see the arenas start to clear out early if a team is getting blown out.
Right, 2K has that. Madden needs to have that, I think. Do they have it where people leave? I think I haven't seen that in a minute now speaking about it. See, that's the thing I just noticed now they took out.
NFL is not clearly as strict when it comes to their video games, and maybe one day the NFL won't be so uptight either, but at this point, that's wishful thinking. Now it's time to switch gears once again and talk about arguably the biggest missed feature in Madden these days. And this one is a bit more controversial, as the verdict is still out on whether or not this was an official NFL ban. There's a lot of mixed information on this. Nobody seems to know for sure, as we've heard some reliable sources on both sides of the argument, and I'm talking about the Create a Team feature. Create a Team is one of the most crucial aspects of sporting games these days, being able to expand your leagues, create your own custom teams,
bro,
custom
this
logos.
Is my literal childhood right here, bro. Creating a team, the franchise, or if I'm even saying it right the whole time, I don't even think it was called the franchise, or maybe it was, whatever. But bro, this was a fire feature, bro. Like, and then you can like make your team and put your team anywhere, like in the U.S. and like some of the Canada places too, bro. It was just, and you would see like the different, like when they would like do the intro for the game, you'll see like when the drone or the plane or whatever you show to record, you see the atmosphere around, bro. Like, come on, man.
You name it.
That
this
was
type of thing thrived in games like NCAA 14, Madden 2005, and currently thrives in games like NBA 2K and even NHL. Now, the rumor for a while was that the NFL banned this, but over time we've come to learn that it appears that they banned the ability to edit existing teams. The example that was used when this information broke many years ago was that the NFL didn't want to see the Raiders with a pink helmet. But in terms of creating your own teams, there's never been any official source that has said the NFL banned anything like that. And in fact, one of the former creative directors of Madden, Rex Dixon, said many years ago that they were never forced to remove the feature. After all, Madden does have over 30 relocation teams, which were even just updated this year. So the NFL clearly is okay with custom teams, and even the idea of relocating these teams and changing a current team to a completely new one. However, they have put the ban on editing existing teams to look different than their real-life counterparts. And along with things like creating a team is also changing up divisions and things like that, or realigning the conferences. We've never gotten an official word on why we can't do that in Madden, but it would seem that that kind of goes hand in hand with this, as the NFL wants things to be more on par with real life. Now, my thoughts on this feature as a whole is that we'll likely see it return soon at some point, especially with the new NCAA football game coming out next year. That game will likely have a creative team, and then they can port that over to Madden. But I don't know if we'll ever see anything along the lines of NBA 2K, where you can literally upload your own logos.
Bro, I will say they need to let you create your stadium in Madden Ultimate Team, though. If they do it where it's offline mode, they need to let you do this shit, bro. This would be fire.
Can't see the NFL.
Bro, you imagine like my Duck Pack logo, like right here on the corner, right here in the stadium. That shit,
based on how they operate. But a system where we have a bunch of
see the city like stuff in the background. That's man. See, like, bro, EA, y'all be selling, bro. Like, what do y'all niggas be doing from this? Like, bro, right now, an EA dev is copy and pasting Madden 25, Madden 24 to Madden 25 right now as we speak. Madden 25 is going to be the same game, guys. Oh, wait. Technically, they can't even make a Madden 25 because Madden 25 already came out because they wanted to be ahead of the year, Futurama type of shit, or some anniversary or something like that. So what are they going to call Madden this year coming up? That's going to be something we got to see next episode.
Designing the uniforms and stadiums ourselves would definitely suffice and would be worlds better than what we currently have. Up next on the list is something that will definitely anger a lot of Madden fans, especially in franchise mode, and this is customization, which is kind of what we were just talking about with Create a Team, but this is more along the lines of equipment. This is another thing that the NFL has been very strict on, and they're very strict on it in real life. We all know in real life, though, that players will kind of wear what they want sometimes, but the NFL will fine players for wearing this equipment that doesn't meet their very strict guidelines. Things like not wearing the right cleats or the right gloves is a quick way to have to pay a hefty fine over to the NFL office. this. Now, we've seen EA work their best around this lately and give us a good bit of what the NFL deems okay for players to wear, but the truth is we'll never see the crazy custom visors, custom cleats, or special gloves as long as the NFL has any say in this matter. We see all the time fans asking to get visors in the game with logos on them or different colored visors, or some of the crazy gloves or cleats that these players wear in real life, but if the NFL isn't allowing it in real life, they're definitely not going to allow the players to wear the custom gear in Madden where they actually have full control over it. Just recently, they made AJ Brown change his cleats during the game.
Yeah, it's
so
whack.
you know how seriously they take this. They're not going to let you wear pink cleats in Madden. This is also probably why we
Whack.
don't have the ability to wear pants above the knee or the option to not wear high socks, because technically in the NFL, you're not supposed to do that. It's a uniform violation, even though players do it all the time. But at the end of the day, EA is forced to comply with these uniform policies in game, as the people that control the uniform and the customization have said many times that they have to do what's in line with the NFL uniform policy, even if the real life players don't always do that. Now, this next thing on the list is a bit more controversial, but also a bit funny because it was later changed. I'm talking about none other than Colin Kaepernick. Now, I know everybody has a different opinion on the guy, but I'm here to just tell you the facts as it pertains to Madden. I'm sure most of you know about his situation with the NFL in the past that eventually led to him being in a lawsuit with the NFL, which eventually got settled. Now, he wasn't banned from Madden in the traditional sense. He was still in Madden games, and while EA didn't have his rights to use him after a certain point because he was no longer a part of the Players Association, EA did reach out and try to obtain his rights directly, but at the time it didn't work out. But that's not how the NFL tried to ban him from the game. Now, we have to go back to Madden 18 to talk about what happened. In the Ultimate Team game mode at the
Bro,
end
I
of the
remember
year,
they took out Mike Vick, bro, because of that situation, dog. I was so heartbroken.
EA does a program called Golden Tickets where a number of lucky people get to create a player of their choosing and make him into a super version of himself, a 99 overall with completely maxed out stats. In Madden 18, many people were saying that if they got a golden ticket, they were going to create Colin Kaepernick, as he did currently have a base card in Ultimate Team from the beginning of the year.
I think 18, yeah, I didn't even play. I took a break from Ultimate Team mode from like when the PS4 dropped. I remember that. Like, I played Madden. My first Madden Ultimate Team was Madden 11 or Madden 12, the one with the Larry Fitz. No. It was the one with the Peyton Hillis on the Browns cover. That was an iconic Madden. That was like my 2K16 for Madden Ultimate Team mode. That was like the best year. That was before I was even on the internet and shit, bro. Oh man, fun times. They had them ghost cards and stuff. Oh yeah, fun times. But anyway, man, what was I about to say? I'm yapping.
Which normally was the requirement. As long as they had a card in the game mode, you could create him into a golden ticket. But that year, after this hype started to pick up over people creating a Kaepernick golden ticket, EA then came out and said that you could only create a player who was on a current NFL roster or a legend player that was released in the game mode that year. Now, this never seemed to be the case before, and would seem like the NFL stepped in.
Damn, why don't they bring us back in Ultimate Team? Shit.
And saying that this was a no-go, which made sense, I suppose, because at the time they were in a lawsuit. And if
bro, I'd make the motherfucking quarterback Randy Moss, bro, 99, bro. That'll be crazy. The flea flickers and the Philly specials I'd be running.
Lawsuit with somebody, it's probably not a good idea to have that player's likeness being profited on in the game. But the fact that his base card was still available to be used in the game mode at any time.
Damn, I know the people that made his card too. They was pissed when they put that update in.
Bad. Fast forward to Madden 19, and then the next big viral moment happened for Madden. EA was caught censoring Kaepernick's name in one of the songs on the Madden soundtrack. After much uproar via social media and news websites picking this up, EA then came out shortly after and said it was a mistake, that whoever edited his name out misunderstood that while they didn't have the rights to his actual likeness, that they didn't have to actually censor his name from the song. But then come to find out they actually censored his name from a song on the Madden 18 soundtrack the previous year when they did have his rights. This one just kind of went unnoticed for the most part for a while until the later situation happened for Madden 19. EA just kind of had to take the bullet for this one, as we all know this definitely came down from the NFL because they were in a lawsuit in the guy at the time. But
one thing I just noticed, like, why isn't there tattoos in the game?
Bad for everybody involved. But the funny thing is, if you fast forward a few years later, Madden 20.
I think I've seen a couple players with the tattoos, but why don't they like have all the tattoos like they have 2K?
One, they brought Kaepernick back to the game.
And they don't got tattoos. I think in like the creative player, the yard mode.
Not only did they bring him back, they made a big marketing deal out of it. They put his player likeness in the game. They made him a highly rated free agent that you could sign to any team in franchise mode. They put him in the yard game mode and gave him special gear that was centered around just him. Obviously, the NFL had to sign off on this, but it's just funny that previously previously they made him not usable in the game or censored his name, and then just years later made a big deal out of bringing him back to the game. But they probably figured that they were going to gain more than they were going to lose by bringing him back and making a big deal out of it, so they just pretended like the other stuff didn't happen and brought him back into the game. Now, a little bit earlier in this video, I also mentioned that there is an NCAA college football video game coming out next year, and if you want to know more about that,
all right, let's don't cap it off. Shout out to Eric Weather, man. What do you guys think? What is the most absurd thing that EA or the NFL took out of Madden? There's a lot of crazy ones. I feel like the craziest one out of all of them, thinking about, was the helmet one. That one triggered me the most, bro, because like it just like popped up my head. Like I have not seen that in literally a decade. Like, and just like their excuse for taking it out is because you don't want to make your league look violent. Like what? That doesn't make any type of sense. And now thinking about it, bro. Damn, if you gotta think, if they that strict and they that caring like to take it out, is this the secret to why NFL or just like EA hasn't dropped another NFL Street or like an EA or like the, what is it, the NFL Blitz? I never played like the NFL Blitz games and shit, or one of them things, dog. Do they think that it could potentially be too brutal nowadays, like to play the game? Because I do remember like there was some brutal hits in like the NFL Street. But it's nothing because this is a video game at the end of the day. But that has another whole conversation that has to be discussed, bro. Because if they're willing to take out a motherfucking helmet, you know what I'm saying? And just like, you don't barely see any things like the tattoos. You don't see anything sometimes with like just other things in the game. There's a long list of the stuff, bro. Like, bro, it's crazy to think about it, bro. That could be possible.